considered a mobile device, an iPad versus a laptop.
We're live now.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Everybody, it is going to be pivotal for you to speak into the mic so it can get to the computer. It is being directed on the speakers right there. So it's very important that everyone speaks into the mic so that the audience and the Zoom participants can hear.
All right, and again, it is consistent with the emergency order. If you are speaking, you can remove your mask while you are speaking. So.
Welcome to April 13th, 2021 City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Webb?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem McGurro?
Here.
Councilmember Sullivan?
Here, calling in from Hazel Park, Michigan, Oakland County.
Councilmember McFall?
Here.
Councilmember Londo?
Here.
Approval of the revised agenda as presented, council. I have a motion to do so.
Move approval of the revised agenda as presented.
Or discussion, dissension. We have an agenda. I'll open up to civic announcements. Anyone have any civic announcements that they would like to bring up of anything going on in their city or our state?
If there's nobody from the public, I have one. The Hazel Park Arts Council is getting ready to go live with our Hazel Park Art Fair applications, hopefully before the end of the month. And I just want people to keep an eye out for that. Follow the Hazel Park Art Fair Facebook page or website for those updates.
Thank you.
I have a question
Yes.
for Ms. Sullivan. When is the art fair date? Is this still the fourth weekend in August?
It is the fourth weekend in August. We are doing it the 28th. The 28th is the date that I have in my brain. It's 2 days, though. It's still a Friday and Saturday. And I'm not sure if that 28th is the Friday or the Saturday of August, but it is the fourth weekend in August.
So I get that date out there as many times as possible.
Agreed. Thank you so much.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on the council? Close civic announcements, open up to public discussion.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, for civic announcements, we're looking at targeting a community cleanup day for May 15th. Obviously, that will be contingent upon restrictions and things like that, but there's our hope that we will be able to do that in cooperation with the 8 Mile Boulevard Association, do some kind of a park cleanup. So we'll keep you and the residents of Hazel Park informed of our progress with that event. And we're also getting a lot of questions from folks about what's going to happen on Memorial Day. Unfortunately, due to the amount of COVID-19 spread, it does not look at all possible there will be a carnival this year, so that it's not going to happen. There will be a ceremony. We're kicking around some kind of an abbreviated parade, but again, some of these things are going to depend upon the level of spread and the level of participation in the community. So we'll keep you informed about that. Maybe as simple as a bike parade or something like that. That's very short, but we'll see how that goes.
Thank you. Public discussion. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come to the podium. Anyone? Close public discussion.
anyone from Zoom wish to speak?
I'm just going to open it up. I'm opening up to Zoom, public discussion, anyone on Zoom wishing to speak.
Charlie would love to give a COVID update from the county
Oh, yeah.
commission.
I didn't see it, Charlie. Sorry about that.
No, that's my bad. We
Charlie
learned.
Cavell, our county commissioner, is willing to speak. Go ahead, Charlie.
Hey, thanks, Mayor and Council. Happy to be here. I just wanted to say, give a quick COVID update. Where we are in Michigan, we've had over 6 million doses administered statewide. In Oakland County, we've had 621,000 doses. That's through 2 systems, right? There's the 5 hospitals and then all the other CVS and all these other groups that you can get vaccinated through, and then OakGov. OakGov has administered 241,000 doses. And then last week, Oakland County government received 26,000 more doses. So what this means is everyone 16 and up is able to be vaccinated. And we have 40% of Oakland County residents, it's over 1 million people now that are able to get the vaccine. 40% of those people, all 1 million of us that are eligible, have received at least our first dose. And when it comes to seniors, 65 and up, 70.5% of us have received at least our first dose. And if you have any questions about how to get vaccinated, please reach out to me at 248-807-4347 or call the nurse on call, which is 800-848-5533. And you can go to Oakland County's website, which has information on how to get your shot at Oakland County, so OakGov, Ascension, Beaumont, CVS, Ford Field, Henry Ford, Kroger, McLaren, St. Joseph Mercy, Surgeon's Choice, Meijer, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and Walmart. So the goal, and I hope you're seeing this transition happen from where we've been to where we are, is that the goal is to get you within 5 miles of a vaccine so that you can take a quick drive over to your local pharmacy and get a shot and then get your second shot 3 or 4 weeks later. And so we're getting close to arriving at that tipping point. And I'm also happy to answer any questions that council or the mayor or city manager may have.
Hey, Charlie, this is Mike McFall.
Hey.
Isn't Smart giving free rides as well?
Yes, thank you for that, Councilman. There's a program where you can reach out to Smart, and I can share that number with the clerk, and you can reach out to Smart to then get a free ride to and from your vaccination anytime.
Thank you, Charlie. And one more question. When are we going to have another vaccination center at our rec center? That was a very good thing and it worked out quite well.
Yeah, and hats off to all of you who are involved in making that happen. If I'm remembering right, and I don't want to speak out of turn, so I can defer to City Manager Klobuchar, but there was a vaccination site at the rec center that gave about 300 people doses on April 7th. That'll be coming back on the 28th for the second dose for that group, if I'm saying that correctly. And I guess, okay. And so then one thing is, it is now TBD when another Hazel Park site could arrive, but for all of us local leaders, so all of you sitting on the dais now, on Friday, April 23rd, we're going to be having a local leaders conversation that you're all invited to from noon to 1 with Deputy County Executive Chris Ward and someone from the executive's office named Ashley, who's been coming to our biweekly conversations. So if you're there, that'd be a great time to bend Chris's ear about that, as I will be more than happy to do as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
Mr. Mayor, I want to thank Commissioner Cavell for all of his hard work and effort. I appreciate his daily COVID updates. I think he's been a great conduit of information, and he is working tirelessly to try to make sure that we all get an opportunity to get vaccinated. So I would encourage everyone, if you're eligible to get a vaccine, get the vaccine. I'm fully vaccinated at this point. I would encourage everyone to do so.
All right. I'll close. Anyone from public discussion on Zoom? Anybody else?
I'll see somebody with
Somebody raise a hand? Hard to see from the
a
thing.
little hand on that. That'd be wonderful. I can't see the guy's name.
I believe that's the cursor.
Yeah, there's no rate ban. There's no rate ban.
All right, that's close.
Yeah, that is the cursor.
And moves us to the consent agenda. Council, consent agenda 1 through 13 with the revised agenda. It would be your pleasure to approve.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move approval of consent agenda items 1 through 13.
That is support. Support. Discussion.
I would like to have discussion on, number 7. Consent agenda item number 7, please.
Item 7, sale of lots.
Yes.
Point of order, do we move that to
We need to move it
administrative item 4?
Move it down.
Discuss it.
We had discussion on it,
Is there a change?
because we're in the middle of discussion of the motion on the consent agenda. And I asked for discussion on it. Go ahead.
I can go ahead with my questions.
Yeah, go right ahead with your discussion.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I know that I have asked previously to the city administration the price point at which we are selling these lots. And I was just hopeful that we could, because I've done some research on this on my own, and I was hoping that the city administration could explain for the public as well the price point, how we come to that and how that is determined. And I apologize for the whining dog in the background.
Did you want to handle this, Jeff?
Yeah, so it's based on, after discussions with the county and what they sell a lot that they might have possession of in Hazel Park, plus more. It can be an ever-changing thing, but the price point is based on what they've been selling for the last year, and that's based on county prices. We haven't raised them up. We might consider a raise in the next few council sessions. That's the market price. We're not asking for the exorbitant amount of 30 grand in hopes of, we're not having it sit on the market for 8 months at a 30 grand price point, right? 7,500 is based off of several thousand more than the county asked for similar lots of similar value.
Thank you so much. That was it. I just wanted to communicate that to residents as well, because I think there is some confusion on the pricing of these.
And I also had some ideas about that too, but I started to realize that really, look back 10 years or 15 times the amount that we were selling these lots for 15 years ago. We were selling these lots for $500. So 15 times over 10 years, the great inflated amount for the price. And yeah, there could be an opportunity we get more for it, but I'm also looking, I had a discussion with Ms. Klobuchar earlier, that we actually don't want to put insult to injury by adding more money to the price of the sale of the home, and getting homeowners is our biggest key. And I think that's one of the biggest proactive moves at the city, to take these vacant lots and make a little bit of money, and also have homeowners establish themselves here in our community.
Well, we're able to recoup our costs because again, every one of these vacant lots represents taxpayer investment in lawn maintenance and snow shoveling and things like that. So I'm glad we're getting a good return on the investment that we made to maintain those properties. And a home will be constructed there, and it should be a good thing for the community.
I said, the question that I have regarding that though is, do we have anything from the person purchasing it that they're not still gonna sell the house at what all the other houses are selling for? Are they just making more profit? If you say that they'll add it to the sale price, but the house will only sell for a certain amount.
I mean, if you got $15,000 for the lot versus $7,500, they raise it by $7,500. I mean, that's one way of looking at it.
I have a strong suspicion he's gonna increase his
But
profit.
or you try to make it easier for our builders to build new homes in our area. For years, we couldn't even get a builder to build a house here.
Yeah, but now
Everybody wants to build.
Yeah.
But you don't want to splash that either. You want to
Campbell?
All I will say is that's not necessarily a consideration when the lot sale is made. The main concern with the sale is that we get something that is viable and marketable, and at the same time has to be sold to an owner occupant for a period of 2 years, so it can be rented.
There you go. Good questions. Any other questions on the consent agenda for any other items? Any dissension to the consent agenda? Motion passes. Thank you. Administrative reports, item 1.
Mr. Mayor, this is the second reading of the human rights ordinance. I will defer to Councilman Mondo to see if he has any comments he'd like to make about this, and see what's the sponsor. The administration recommends approval.
I just did want to ask a question. So approval on second reading is approval of the ordinance, correct?
Yes.
So just at a high level, just to remind the public that this human rights ordinance would provide protections based off of everything included in the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act, as well as expand it to include sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression, as well as disability status. I think this is long overdue in Hazel Park, but that is not to say that Hazel Park has always been the friendly city. This is merely codifying existing practice. And I'm honored to be able to introduce this ordinance and let everybody know that Hazel Park continues to lead in the pursuit of rights for the LGBTQ community. All that said, I move adoption of the ordinance to add Title 18 human rights.
Support.
Any more discussion? Dissension? Motion passes. Thank you.
Yay.
Administrative reports, item 2, ordinance to amend Title 5 Health and Safety by adding Chapter 5.30 for food trucks, second reading. Mr. Klobuchar?
Mr. Mayor, we've had some discussions with some council persons who have had some questions about this particular ordinance. We're basically requesting approval so that we can properly begin to regulate food trucks. The administration is certainly open to discussion on this. Hopefully we have allayed most everyone's concerns, but it remains a topic that is new to us, and we would recommend approval, but there's certainly room for discussion and approval.
Every new ordinance has a little bit of room to readjust as we start giving out the permits. And kind of this new area for us, so we have to work through it as well with the applicants. Do I have a motion to pass this in second reading?
I'll move approval, Mr. Mayor, of the food truck ordinance. Let's call it that, second reading.
All right. Support. Any more discussion? Dissension? Passes. Administrative item 3, amendments to section 17.02, 17.45.030, 17.45.040, and 17.48.020 of zoning ordinance, second reading. Overture.
Yes, the administration recommends approval on second reading of these amendments. Mr. Campbell is here to answer any questions that you may have.
Mr. Campbell, you want to enlighten us a little more on this particular one?
Again, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is addressing what was the moratorium that was issued in February. It basically sets forth where the event spaces are no different than assembly halls and or lodges or private clubs. And basically, they are allowed in the same spot on BC 1, which is the Chrysler Business Drive, where they are already allowed. And then it makes them, for LBM purposes, which is local business and manufacturing, a special land use, so we can better understand how it might affect the community. Thus, it comes before Planning Commission, and it also comes before City Council for your approval.
Thank you, sir.
Again, I want to thank Jeff Campbell for his crazy, outstanding work that he's been doing. Thank you, Jeff.
Motion to approve.
I'll move approval, Mr. Mayor.
Or any more discussion on that? Comments? Dissension? Motion passes. Boards and commissions. Anyone? Boards and commissions, or you want to wait till next meeting?
Mr. Mayor, I have some applications, and the administration is prepared to recommend reappointment of Ben Trunk, Sherry Gibson Dirksey, Christopher Garapi, and Vicky Upcott to the historical commission.
All right. Abstention? All done. Any more boards, commissions, sir?
That's it at this time. We have another application, but I'll be getting with you and the other members of council to see where we have vacancies and what might be the best match for this particular application.
All right, takes it to new business. Anyone in the council have any new business they want to bring up? Anyone?
We will be having an executive session after the meeting.
Okay. Any, what would be business? We did approve some money we're trying to get a grant for Woodward Heights, the rest of Woodward Heights. Just want to let everybody know that. That was in the earlier part of the packet. I forgot to bring it up. Sorry.
Did you want me to talk a little bit about that? Or?
Yeah, we're applying for a grant. Go ahead.
We're applying for 2 grants through Congressman Andy Levin's office. One to renovate the pole barn, to add additional meeting space by our recreation department, and then a second one to pay for to finish the repaving and repairs of Woodward Heights all the way to DeQuinted. We hope that goes through. We really hope that one goes through. Then we can use some of the county road monies for some of the other local roads and cross streets.
That would be nice.
Desperate need of repair.
Yeah.
So they're always looking for ways, fingers crossed. And we've also supported the schools in their endeavor as well for boys and girls.
Is there anything additional that we can do with Andy Levin's office?
We already have letters from the mayor, and we all support it, but you can feel free to send another. I think it's all in them now.
I just didn't know
It's all done.
if the public contacted or anything.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be helpful with the selection process or not. Jeff may know.
I don't want to bombard his office if it's not.
It's not really gonna have an effect because he picks the projects and, we got letters not, for the resurfacing project from SEMCOG, as well as, Commissioner Bell, who left, as well as, Executive Coulter. They also provided community funding. Representative Weiss also provided a letter, for the community funding as well. The resurfacing, both these are projects that they will take to congressional committee that considers it. So you can pressure Andy, but he's not the only one making the decision. so the hope is, and we asked for what I think are reasonable. I spoke to somebody at SEMCOG. Some communities asked for $140 million for the roads. So I think we came in the more reasonable request, and hopefully we get that.
Right. We were very reasonable and measured, and for a small amount of money, we can make both of these projects work. So fingers crossed, no guarantees.
All right. Communications from department heads. Any department heads in the back wishing to come up and give us any comments? DPW Director Tom Jones.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Thank you. It's been a while since I've seen you guys. Just want to touch base. We have a lot of programs going right now. We have our tree trimming and removal program currently south of 9 to Myers from West End to John R. We go through and trim all the trees that are healthy, and we remove trees that are deemed that should be removed. We also have our sidewalk program. Currently, it is on Harding, Hoover, Crosley, and Vance. We've also added the ADA ramps to each of those corners, and hopefully by the end of this year, we'll have everything north of 9 Mile completed with ADA ramps and sidewalk improvements. Also, just our spring things, we do have our street sweepers out in full force. The streets are looking good. Leaf programs compost pickup has started. That's always a big topic. Weather breaks and people start raking their leaves and hoping that it'll get picked up. That started April 5th. And then we're also been receiving compost at Kennedy Park. So that's always a big winner. As soon as we get it, it goes pretty quickly. Other than that, everything's going pretty good.
Tom, do you want to talk a little bit about the new variation in GFL in terms of how they're picking up trash sometimes with the arm to lift up?
Yes, so GFL is introduced in the past they've introduced an automated recycling truck, which is an arm comes out and lifts the recycling cart into the vehicle. That takes one person to run through the city pretty quickly. Anybody that still uses the red bins that we used to use, the actual GFL foreman follows up and makes sure that everything gets picked up. Now they just introduced a garbage truck that is automated, a one driver. He can go through the city very quickly and pick up everything in the gray cart. Now we do get calls, he goes through and they say, hey, he didn't get all my garbage. There's a second truck, which is the bulk truck. It's a two-man truck, and it actually runs every street and picks up everything that the automated truck doesn't get. So that's been running for about a month, and we get a lot of calls on that. People are concerned that they didn't pick up all the trash, but it does come through, and they have till 5, 6 o'clock at night to finish the route. In fact, I seen the truck still running when I just came in and I called and like, hey, everything going good? And they had one truck have an issue today, but they are ensuring me that everything is finished when they're done. I'm going to the 5-day-a-week instead of the 1-day-a-week really has enabled them to finish the routes in a timely fashion.
Let me ask you a question. A lot of people are asking me, should the carts be sat in the street or on the approaches where it's kind of uneven?
No, we asked for them to put it on the grass, the parkway. We also run our street sweeper on the same day as those garbage are out. So we ask the public to keep those up on the parkway and to keep space between your recycling cart and the gray cart, because it's two different trucks coming with that arm reaching out to get that, and kind of aim it towards the street. And so there is a little bit of a learning curve with that, but all in all, everything's going pretty good.
Real quick. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Alyssa.
I was just going to say, also the carts on themselves actually say what side to face towards the street. And I know there's been some discussion about that and confusion, but both of the carts on the lid literally say to face this side towards the street. So make sure you do that. And then I was going to ask Tom, if you could go over the payment options for the sidewalk replacement program so that people have a better understanding of how that works as well.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
the sidewalk areas, which is mapped out, we are going through the city. We have 12 sections. We are currently in the 7th section. Any houses that are identified with sidewalks that are deemed trip and fall, crack, any of those things, they do get a letter. And in that letter, it explains the payment program and everything. So when we start a program, we actually send an estimated letter. When the actual work is done, we go back out, inspect that, and then send the bill out. And on the bill, you have options. If you want to pay everything up front, you get a 5% discount. Another way you can choose to pay is come to the treasury office and pay like you would pay a water bill. I'll put $50 down, $25 down. You can do that and work on your bill. The third option is you do nothing and the net falls as a lien on your taxes the following year. There's 3 options, and that's how we get through it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got a question? No? Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, I just want to commend Tom Jones for the great job that he's doing. Obviously, we've got a lot of projects going on there in his department this year at this time of the year, and he's doing a fantastic job, and so are his personnel. I want to point that out. I want to thank all my department heads that are here. They do incredible work every day for the people of the department.
All right, any other department heads want to speak?
Can I ask a question of another department head since Tim Young is on the call here?
No, we'll get to Tim just a second.
Okay.
We're gonna let you go first, Chief. Give us an update of what happened yesterday.
Oh, all right. Before I forget, I just want to express our gratitude for all the outpouring support for us losing K9 Lando. Mike in the department has gotten sympathy cards from all over the country, believe it or not. So thank you to everyone in the community and the surrounding communities, everyone that supported us during our campaign to get the Tahoe, which we won. It's amazing. But yeah, yesterday's talking about the shooting. We had a shooting near Cousins and Woodward Heights, believed to be targeting two residents from town. One more detail on that.
You know, I know since this is an ongoing investigation, maybe just suffice to say that our police officers did a fantastic job in apprehending these suspects. Thank God there was no serious injury or loss of life due to the gunplay that took place. And it just shows how important it is every day to have an outstanding police department.
I did want details. You know what you can say.
Yeah. We're still in the process of the investigation. Today was a productive day. We plan to be submitting our for our charges with the prosecutor's office tomorrow. Then we can give a little more detail. But yeah, overall, from detectives to the officers on scene, to the officers that located the vehicle, essentially 1.5 miles away, and then the pursuit. Everyone did a good job, and I'm happy our guys are safe. I know I reported the suspects that were arrested and went to the hospital. That was minor injuries. They are all been cleared and are with us now.
Okay. That's good enough. I think everybody got the general idea from the news. And thank you for an update to us, sir. I appreciate it. And tell your cops, good job.
Thank you. I know there's been some social media talk of speeding on residential streets. I am aware of it. We are doing what we can. We do have a portable radar device that we plan to put out. Thank you to Tom Jones for helping me fix that. We had a drained battery and we got a new battery for us, so we should be getting that out there. That'll be one thing, along with our radar trailer. And also, we plan to do some different types of enforcement. So we're going to be out there. April is also Distracted Driving Month awareness. We participated in that You Text, You Drive, You Pay campaign just this past Thursday. We were near Woodward Heights and John R. We plan to put a 4-hour block of enforcement in, and just through 2.5 hours, we got 23 violations. So it's definitely a problem. I see it constantly if I'm in town or out of town or wherever. It's a problem, and people need to just put their phones away while they're driving. With that said, nicer weather, slow down, pay attention. Pedestrians are going to be out more, bicyclists are going to be out there.
Kids on mopeds.
Yeah, kids on mopeds. Thanks for bringing that up too. I know we put out a post about that, and I don't know if that was the best idea because it didn't really, in some respects, it didn't help what we were looking for, but it did help. We were no different things we looked for. With that being said, if there's things we need to know about, still call the station. That's a lot better way than messaging us on Facebook. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Young from the Water Department, we see you on the screen. Would you like to talk? You there, Tom? You there, Tim?
I'm here, just waiting patiently for Miss Sullivan's question.
It's an easy one, I promise.
Okay.
We had some people noticing that there were green dots by some of the drain areas, and I was wondering if you could tell the residents why that is there. Please, thank you.
So every year the city's divided up into 4 sections, and we clean out the catch basins. That's the street drains per our MS4 permit. And the green dots just tell our guys that one got cleaned, so they don't come back around and try to do it twice. And that's also our setup for our West Nile program, which will be dropping the West Nile treatments into all the basins throughout the city, but that won't begin probably till mid or late May. The chemical used can last 180 days, so it'll take us right through to the fall, which is a real good way to do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Any other things you want to bring up to us, Tim?
At this time, nope. I sent you all a little write-up saying we did get our grant for the camera. So we'll be finalizing that paperwork to get our check.
Yep.
And, it went well.
Thank you. Any communications for our city attorney, Melissa Schwartz? City manager, Ms. Klobuchar.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Again, you reference social media. Sometimes I see things on social media, and folks are asking, well, gee, how can we reduce our high millage rate? Well, that's, your millage rate actually will come down this year a little bit, due to the interaction between Headley and Prop A. There's a whole lot to this budget that I don't think that some people understand. So we're going to take our next meeting this month and turn that into a budget study session. And we're going to give mayor and council, as well as the folks at home, a solid overview of municipal finance and the city of Hazel Park's budget and how we got to where we are today and why those rates are where they are and the critical importance that those millage elections played in keeping Hazel Park viable and setting the stage for our rebound and renaissance. We've all discussed and we're all aware the good things are happening here in the city of Hazel Park. We've had a lot of very positive press coverage in the past few weeks, and a lot of that is a result of the fact that Hazel Park is a great place to live. Still has very affordable housing, and we have outstanding city services. And it's important that we maintain those city services because, as we saw yesterday, crime found its way into Hazel Park, and thank God we had a well-staffed, highly professional police department to deal with that and protect the residents of the community. So there's a reason for why everything operates the way that it does, and we're always open to new ideas. We're always looking for new revenue sources. But I have to remind everybody that we have some serious expenses coming in the future, and the biggest of those expenses is the fact that the Michigan Employee Retirement System, which Hazel Park is a member, has recalculated their actuarial assumptions. And based on those recalculations, our pension contribution is going up almost $1 million a year. So, and that's $1 million a year, every year from now until the foreseeable future, until basically the pension situation stabilizes itself. As older retirees pass on, the newer retirees and the newer contracts that we negotiated inside the city manager are much more reasonable in terms of the benefits that we provide our employees. So sooner or later, the situation will stabilize. But due to the actuarial changes and due to the demographics of our retiring population, this is going to be a significant expense for the city of Hazel Park. And it's not an expense that you have an option to sure, if we don't make that contribution, MERS will sue us, we will lose in court, and a judgment levy will be issued against every property. So that's one of the reasons why we did move into allowing the marijuana businesses to come here to Hazel Park, because we knew that we would have to find additional revenue sources to be able to meet these expenses. So we're constantly looking for ways to do things better. We're constantly looking for ways to save money. We're constantly looking for ways to generate additional revenue to the city of Hazel Park that doesn't involve our homeowners paying more money in taxes. So we're trying to be responsible. We're trying to be vigilant. But I want to make all of you on the council aware and everyone at home aware of the fact that there are, unfortunately, expenses that simply cannot be cut or avoided. We're going to have to find a way to meet those obligations. And right now we have plans in place to do so. And we'll continue to monitor the situation and keep you guys updated. Because the Michigan system of municipal finance is fundamentally broken.
I thought you were going to miss it.
I did too.
Okay.
Forward.
Ye of little faith.
Takes us, thank you very much, Mr. Klobuchar. Takes us to our councilperson Sullivan. Would you like to speak?
Sure thing. I wanted to double back on what City Manager Klobuchar mentioned earlier. I have been attending the 8 Mile Boulevard Association meetings as city representative, and we are working on doing a coordinated event with the Detroit Metro City Motor City Cleanup, which is May 15th. And our city is looking to kind of combine some resources through 8 Mile Boulevard Association and plan our spring cleanup in our city as well that date. We've been in talks for a couple weeks now with Serene from our Parks and Rec department, and then Ed, of course. And I really appreciate their help on that. And I look forward to us getting that kind of on the books and ready to go. So residents, keep an eye out for that. And then also I wanted to remind everybody that April 11th through 17th is Dog Bite Prevention Week. I am posting some things online about ways that you can actively participate in dog bite prevention and some educational resources for you to share with your friends and family. Just a reminder that not everybody owns a dog, but that doesn't mean that you might not encounter dogs in your everyday life. And prevention is absolutely one of the easiest ways to keep people safe. And I just wanted to tell everybody, again, if you celebrate Easter or Passover or any other number of those lovely spring festivals and holidays that we're encountering as we go through April, wish everybody a happy one of those. And I hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and everybody continue to stay safe, get vaccinated, and wash your hands.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Mondo.
What's up, Hazel Park? Just wanted to recognize the Team Papakian as well as Ed and the whole team that worked on the Hazel Park Community Center vaccination. Just awesome, remarkable job and a remarkable service to our residents. Looking forward to having the second part later this month, as well as opportunities in the future to vaccinate our residents. Chief Buchholz, I haven't talked to you in a bit, but I did want to say I'm sorry for the loss of Officer Lando. As somebody that shares a name very, very close, I was a little bit heartbroken by that. And additionally, I did want to recognize your officers for helping apprehend the suspect yesterday. Just really remarkable work, and very, very proud to have such an exemplary police department. Very excited that in 10 days, it will be illegal in the city of Hazel Park to discriminate on the basis of race, color, religion, gender, age, height or weight, marital status, sexual orientation, gender identity expression, familial status, national origin, or physical or mental disability. It's really been a labor of love for me, and I just want to thank Melissa Schwartz, their city attorney, Ed, as well as the remainder of council for really having support. I did want to remind those tuning in that it is still legal in the state of Michigan to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. So please reach out to your legislators and please encourage them to amend the State Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act and finally do their job. And then lastly, for those of you who celebrate April 20th, please do so responsibly and don't drive.
Thank you. Councilman McFall.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to also commend the officers yesterday, Chief. I'd like to echo Luke's comments. And I'd like to remind all of the residents like how great our services actually are. You know, we have a wonderful police department, we have a wonderful fire department. They respond very quickly, which you don't get in every community. And so I think most residents do realize that, but it always is good to remind everyone as well. So thank you all. I would also like to remind all of the residents that there are requested additional restrictions on restaurants. And so some restaurants are closing, some are not, and only serving road or curbside or delivery. Please support them as much as you can. We have several restaurants in our city that could really use your support, so please continue to order takeout as often as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem McCarroll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I again would echo the police chief's sentiments about watching out for pedestrians and the bikes and the scooters. I'm one of those bicyclists, and Hazel Park has a growing Hazel Park Casual Bike Club. A lot of fun. We get out on Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock, meet behind the high school. We had our first official ride last week. We had 15 people, 17 miles, or 17 people, 15 miles in that year. A lot of fun. And I'm just really glad that after all yesterday's incident that everybody's safe. No loss of life of any kind. And just a special note too, the department heads, amounts, and I don't tend to take the time to quantify it, but there is a lot of money that our city gets in grants. We seek a lot of grants. We are always seeking grants. There's, this is 500, this is 40,000, here's another 16. So we're trying to stretch our budget in any means possible and find any funds we can. I appreciate all the grants seeking opportunities. And if you have children, hug them every day and tell them you love them. Have a great day.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening. I'd like to thank our department heads for all they do and all the memos they send us and give us a little extra reading and kind of watch out what's going on within our city. And those do count, believe it or not. We do read those. I'd like to thank the chief for doing a good job and also thank all his officers. I'm glad everyone is safe and there was no one injured. Even the people that were fleeing, I'm glad they were not injured. I do want to bring up the issue of civil rights and human rights here. In the past, our city was not known for being that openly minded. And now our city is more diversified, open, different age brackets, genders, whatever, we got a good mix in our community. And I think it shows in the way we have done things in our community and made changes in our home values are skyrocketing due to people want to feel that they can come to an inclusive community and have the growth with the schools and raise their kids or be with their loved one in a nice home in a walkable community and take their dog and do what they need to do and live their life. I think that's a big part of who we are and what we try to strive to be as humans is to live our life in peace and tranquility. And I think that we're all here to represent that and promote that. And moving forward in our community, we're going to make the tough decisions that will make us the greatest, even more friendlier than what we already are for the future. And hopefully our kids can do better than we can. And I think we've done a good job, but there's always room for improvement. We can only hope to strive as far as we can. Thank you.
I would like to have a motion to move into executive session to discuss Dale versus Hazel Park, and the Attorney Schwartz also has various updates for you.
Do I have such?
I move that we go into executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Any litigation?
Second.
And we will be back to this when we get done with exec session, which could be a little while. Thank you.
Go to my office, we go to conference room. No, we're gonna go to conference room.
If you wish to wait here, you can. We will be back in probably 30 to 40 minutes, I hope.
Shorter than that, but.
At least 30.
Yeah, print the memo first.